My story happened when I was in college, and a modeling agent said that he could jumpstart my modeling career. 6 weeks later, I found myself in the pit of human trafficking.
As a child, I grew up in a home where there was a lot of domestic violence, there was a lot of inappropriate touching, and there was a lot of abuse.
I grew up around a time when pimping and prostitution was actually looked at as a cool thing. So coming out of that, we didn't see too much hope for ourselves. We didn't see too much hope for our communities. And what we went into was pretty much an epidemic that kind of spread like wildfire across our city.
I got forced into human sex trafficking when I was 18. It started when I met this guy shortly after I graduated. He told me he was gonna be my boyfriend. 5 months later, he put a gun in my back and told me I was gonna make money for him.
And for months, I went down a dark path of questioning my value, questioning my identity, and all the ways that I had at first adapted to survive in that lifestyle of trafficking became my normal mode of operation.
Thought he was gonna be a friend, didn't know he was a pimp, and it just kind of spiraled out of control from there.
After a few months in that lifestyle, I started to believe that I was a worthless piece of property and that I belonged in that situation and that there was no hope for escape.
I felt ashamed. I felt like it was my fault. I felt dirty. I felt like no one loved me. I felt like I didn't love myself. I felt like at some points I wanted to kill myself just to get away from everything. And I actually carried on actions to try and kill myself.
What is a child to do that since the age 13 has known nothing but being abused in hotel after hotel, sold like a slice of pizza? What is that child to do when they grow up? And now they've been recovered, they've been rescued, but they have no hope, no dreams, because everything has been demolished by the traffickers and abusers.
Oftentimes that question is asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? But how can a person really ask that if they don't even know what options they have? If the only options they have are what's inside that box. And I grew up in that box, and in that box you see drug dealing, you see prostitution, you see illegal activity, you see broken homes. That's the box I grew up in. So for me to say what I want to be when I grow up and all I know is what's inside that box, I'm going to do what's inside that box.
Adolescent years are very important to building a person into who they are. If a person is not properly educated, is not properly nurtured, and they're not given love at the right stages in their life, they will seek it. They will look for acceptance, they will look for validation, and they will look for their basic needs to be met.
Need to do an education in the schools. We need to go after runaways, where you have 20% of the people that are runaways end up in the hands of these guys in a very short order. That's prevention. And then we also, of course, need to have victim services. So you have there are many ways that we can try to come after this. Prevention, of course, if they say an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, here it's worth about a ton, because a girl that has been trafficked will never be the same.
You know, I tried leaving the life several times. I tried leaving it about 5 to 6 times, only each time I came back home, I got back into it. I thought it was natural. I thought it was normal, I guess. You know, as I come to figure out that it is normal for a girl to go back into it 7 times.
The level of their trauma and their level of their emotional state is so low that it takes a lot of work to rebuild it. One of the things that we do in order to rebuild victims is we use a curriculum called Ending the Game.
The types of mental manipulation, the types of ridicule and breaking down someone's true God-given identity that so many survivors and victims in that lifestyle experience can be very hard for survivors to piece themselves back together when they're getting out of the game or out of the life.
With Ending the Game, they're really able, as they move through the curriculum, to see that they were brought in through fraud, through coercion, through tricks and lies, that it really wasn't so much their fault, but that they were in a very vulnerable position and somebody actually took advantage of that.
One of the things that the Lynch Foundation is doing is supporting programs that help mitigate this trauma, that help our victims rebuild their lives and learn how to live in a healthy way, to understand their own value, and to detach themselves from those chains of abuse.
The reason why I'm developing this curriculum is because as a young girl, there were a lot of things that I was exposed to that I shouldn't have been exposed to. And if I had the proper education that I needed as a minor, I would have been able to prevent myself from getting into the life of sex trafficking. Carissa Phelps is someone who has molded the way for many survivors like myself. She has went through the struggle of figuring out business, of figuring out the ropes of what is it to start your own business. She has paved the way for many of us. The importance of having her support in this curriculum is that she has already created something. My first time meeting Carissa was at a panel speaking event where I was speaking about awareness in regards to human trafficking. Her genuineness, her love, her heart, and her empowerment really pushed me to continue to chase after my purpose, and that is why we're here today.
It seems like it took forever to get here.
Oh my God, yes.
Where we're like here. I know we've been on the phone and we've been talking and we're planning, but to get here, so it's just amazing what you're doing.
It is. It's exciting. It's definitely exciting about the lives that we can change together.
Yeah, and I think it's amazing that every person I meet has a new idea and a new way that they want to solve the problem of human trafficking, and yours is so unique that I couldn't help but get behind it and support you in it.
Thank you.
And I'm honored to be working with you, and I'm impressed by the number of people you have that already support you. I'm impressed by the training you've already had yourself and the training you've done. You are very prepared for this next step.
We reach into those that most people are afraid of and disregard. In my work with Ebony and this new curriculum is to reach into the schools and not just teach skills, but to uplift the young women and young men that need help so they don't have to walk down the same path that I was forced to walk down.
What I love most about Ending the Game is the empowerment. You know, just need a little bit of community, a little love, a little education, a little support to really flourish and be an asset to our communities, be an addition to our neighborhoods and our nation. And these are leaders, these are strong women and men, and it's really just a blessing to help be a part of somebody's journey to becoming their best selves.
I want the community to know, from having looked in these young girls' and women's eyes, that there really are kids. These are not somebody else's kids. They're our community's kids. They can be anybody's daughter that is trapped and deceived and psychologically manipulated. So it is on us, the entire community, the business community, the law enforcement community, to come around these victims and to care, to look deep and to look at everything that you can offer, your talents, your ability to educate, to provide a business opportunity, to grow their talent, to give them a chance in life, a chance that they never had, to really understand how much they're worth, how much they matter to us as a community.
I want to have kids. I want to be married. I want someone to love me. I'm still looking for someone to love me unconditionally. But you know, and I just, you know, I want to be a chef and I want to cook, and be a beautiful, striving person.